Greetings fam, just in relation to the expansive yoga program, and just a recap on the points that we was talking about in the last session, which was diving into the water rounds and just highlighting some of the very beneficial properties of water and why we should keep a constant flow, turnover of water in the body. So the depths of water are so infinite, they go deep into the abyss. So I think it's very appropriate to just focus on a couple of points, and I think most fitting for yoga we can focus on the digestion aspect, detoxification, hydration, and we must touch on the magical essence of water, or the higher essence, the deeper layered science to the structure and function of water. That's very important. So yeah, just for the sake of recapping and a great consideration, when we talk about digestion, we can talk about detoxification in the same, it can go into the same topic, the same category, because detoxification is part of the digestive process. When we digest, we are breaking down to the smallest possible units of material, to simple structures, and then we are basically burning that. We are absorbing the nutrients, the good stuff, and we then have waste material which needs to be eliminated from the body, and also part of that process is detoxification. So you're naturally going to eliminate what is not used, but then because certain foods carry certain levels of toxins, it's entering the body. The body's, nearly every tissue in the body absorbs to some degree, so we need to detox, we need to get those toxins out in order for them to be eliminated, and the liver does allow that. The liver is a key organ, it's very important that, and as well we need to drink to just keep flushing the body, and the reason we talk about digestion is because water is essential to the digestive process. A lot of water is used in the digestive process and then reabsorbed back into the system as the digested matter or waste goes through its last stages within the colon tract. But without water, the cells cannot metabolize and do their function. They cannot break down, but also they cannot absorb the nutrients, and then they definitely cannot kind of form the stools that is necessary to pass through the body, through the rectum, the colon, and on to the rectum. So water is necessary at every single stage of the digestive process. And why we have to really consider the digestive process is because if your waste and your materials inside are not moving, then nothing is moving. You are not gaining the necessary energy, you are not burning. B, you are not absorbing the necessary nutrients, and C, you are not passing this waste that is going through a process of putrefaction. It's rotting, decomposing, whatever it is. As soon as it's dead, if it's natural at best, as soon as it's picked off the tree, it starts to decompose slowly. It's lost its life, or it's like being cut from the cord. Do you see what I'm saying? As soon as you cut it from its branch, it has layers and mechanisms to maintain it. But if it's slowly decomposing every time, because it's naturally going to go back into nature, it's got an inherent intelligence. Especially when we start eating food and it goes into the body which is hot and heated inside, we're constantly burning energy, and the body remains at about 37 degrees. So whatever's going, if it's natural, plant-based, all the better. But when we're dealing with meat, when we're dealing with bacteria from other living organisms when we're dealing with blood, bacteria, and pus, i.e. dairy. These kind of, they really putrefy eggs, rice, certain grains. You don't want these things hanging around in your body too long. You know what happens when you leave them in a pot for too long? It starts to stink after a day or two, especially if the heat catches it. So, and then what happens is if we're constipated, i.e. we're not moving or passing stools, the digestive system it will become overloaded. So you will not be digesting, and I touch on this a lot of times, and you can often see the link with yourself and other people, especially if you will be able to identify constipated people, because nothing's moving, nothing else can get through. Like, you will be maybe speaking to them or conversating, trying to reason, and you can clearly see that, you know, they may be listening to you, but they cannot process what you are saying. You get the glum look. Do you know what I mean? And that's very serious, because for them it's not a nice experience, but they won't realize it. People don't often put the two connections together. Now, the gut and the brain, as I always say, they're intimately connected. There's a brain of the gut and a brain of the head, and they are joined neurologically and cellularly. Yeah, it's one mechanism, one cord going into the digestive. They even look the same, the way they fold and lap for absorption process. But anyway, the point is, digestion is key to life. The rate at which we can turn over energy and matter, and it's worse when people are eating very dry foods constantly, i.e. processed and artificial foods, the dry, biscuity, pastry, you know, the more starchy based, the crisp and cake and, you know, bread. It's very dry food, so the body requires more water to soften and to break down. The great thing about the plant-based diets, or more so when you're eating plant-based foods and vegetations, they naturally contain water. All living organisms contain water and depend on water to live, and that's the same as the body. Yeah. And another point, the body is basically a vessel of water, operating at different states and operating at different chemical concentrations. The blood is plasma, is water. Yeah, every aspect of the body. So the other key point to consider is you being infested with parasites and worms and harmful bacteria that have no place in your body. And basically, when you've got all these different minds and you've got all these different living organisms with their own spirituality systems and their own ideologies and their own kind of survival instincts, there's billions of them, and they're all warring and fighting and crying and dying and, you know, eating each other and rotting, and they're also passing waste and they're all rotting inside of you. But the thing we have to really consider as mature souls is that when you have this level of different entities within you, you are not yourself. Your thoughts are not your own. These bacteria are so intelligent. They're not, a lot of them can be single-celled organisms, but they will outwit us. They know you intimately, they know your stimuluses, they know the smells, they know how you respond because you release a chemical every time you have a thought of a muffin or something, you know. So then they will act and you will get these cravings which you think is you, but you know it's not you because you don't want that. You get a gut craving for meat and for, you know, starch and fats. It's them, they need it for survival. They project their intentions. They're just functional. They haven't kind of fell from their grace. So you've got all that to consider. I definitely recommend colon flushes and cleaning the gut as often as possible. But water is essential, so we must keep the balance of water in the body consistent if we want to consistently be well and be operating or functioning at a certain level, especially for growth. Again, stagnant water, we must keep the waters moving, we must flow, breathing, exercising, keep the water circulating, keep it flushing, because stagnant water becomes infested. It will give life, it will always give birth to life. Water, we come from the waters in certain schools of thought and sciences and religions. It all, you know, the primordial waters. All ancient teachings point to the fact that, I'm not talking about Darwin, crazy theories. We're talking about truth, and everything on the planet has its kind of geometrical formation from an aspect of the blue planet, the ocean. So we must really consider how significant water is, in a sense that it is life-giving. And when it becomes stagnant, water is not at its optimum vibratory field. So still water, it's still life-giving, but it's going to give life to things that operate on that level of frequency. Yeah, so bacteria, like if you look in your sink after a few days, you start to see that glaze on top of the water. It's dirty water. Yeah, it's full of life. Water's just doing its job. It's functional. It's going to give life. It ain't going to discriminate. Things will use water to breed and to give life. So, and everything has its place on the earth. But when you're talking about inside of the temple, inside of the body, inside of the vessel of the spirit, you really want to consider how things are circulating and flushing and flowing. Your current, all the current and currencies, the wealth, and that's all in relation to the current of energy flowing through your body, the waves. Yeah, water operates on many kind of mystical levels. So, just to consider that. And for detoxification, again, when you perspirate, when you sweat, which we are constantly doing to some degree, because the body is always in detoxification mode, we are always using water. We need to keep, the more water we put into the body, the more the body will naturally have the energy to metabolize and to detoxify. All the organs will have the adequate amount of oxygen that they need at the molecular level, at the chemical level, to metabolize and function and operate. And importantly, the brain will have that level of water. Again, like I said in the clip, like most headaches stem from the dehydration of the brain, and the brain is screaming like poof, it's the only way it can communicate. You know what I mean? Like my nan used to say, ears are must feel. So if you're not listening, it is going to try and make you feel. It's going to keep screaming and pulsating, and it's dehydrated. It is begging for water, for hydration. But like we say, in this modern day intelligent civilized society, we will try and shut it up with pills and give our kidneys a hard job. No water, our kidneys are going to suffer. That's the pH balance of the body. That's the scales that's showing you where you're at. It's filtering the blood. But if it can't get the concentration of harmful toxins and chemicals out, they have to recirculate, and they will store in your tissues, creating other isolated acidic environments. Yeah, and then this is just a great environment for other acidic. It's a vicious cycle of knock-on effects, because when certain parts of your tissues and cells aren't functioning, they will become hijacked. The area, the individual cells, other bacteria will fester there, so will other acids, and then this is just cancer, basically, we can call it, or other conditions and diseases. Yeah, so water definitely is so significant in that sense. And when we talk about hydration, especially for the yoga, and you will notice the more you keep your cells hydrated, the more flexible your cells will become. If we look at a stick, a twig, it won't make good fire. It won't be, you won't be able to snap it until it's very, very dry. So think about us being human beings. We need to be flexible. We have our nature, we have our functions, especially when you're doing exercises and yoga, and the more flexible you are, the more energy can travel. If you are stiff, and you are not hydrated, you are dry like a twig, you will snap, i.e. you will become very stiff, especially in the joints. And what water will do in its nature, what your body will do in its great intelligence, is it will take water from areas where it may decide it's not necessarily needed. So you will find parts of your body, like the spinal fluids, a lot of backache comes from just dehydration. All the joints and the fluids in the joints, your brain will demand the primary authority for water. It will basically, because your brain don't stop working, even in your sleep, your brain's working. Yeah, and it's the control center. So if your brain is off, your brain dead, brown bread. So basically, it will require water from all areas of your body. Now your joints will get stiff. You'll be stiff. You'll be feeling kind of stiff inside. That's not a nice feeling. Things aren't functioning, so you're feeling heavy. You're constipated. You know, you've got no metabolism. The thyroid's suffering. The glands are suffering. So you're just shutting down. We are a vessel of water. If that water is stagnant, toxic, contaminated, those waters are flowing. And it, you know, I always like to make the connections from us to the external environment. Everything that is a natural living organism contains and depends on water. We share a body mass 90% of water, just like the earth. I know they say 70%, but if we want to get technical, it's deeper than that. Whatever water is in this sphere, atmosphere, is the water. So when we contaminate the waters of the seas and the rivers, we are literally, symbolically contaminating our own body, and literally. The same waters what are in your body that you will urinate into the toilet will then go into the reservoirs. They will go into the rivers. They will go into the seas. They will be evaporated into the clouds and then fall again on the trees to go into the soil again to give more life to the plants that we eat, you know, and they will determine the quality of vegetation that comes. And so it's a cycle. It's a constant cycle. You know, we've got gas cycles, we've got water cycles, we've got nature cycles, we've got light and dark cycles, we've got time cycle. Everything is cycles. That's the nature of things. We operate in cycles. And when I say time and cycles are different, but we can measure cycles with the tool of time. You can put it like that. So, you know, and that leads on to the kind of higher essence of water. We just put it like that, because water is like a liquid crystal. Scientifically, at its molecular structure, it is flowing memory stick. It contains and retains all experiences of its existence, and that's why it's great. Water gets shut. When water's flowing, it is charging itself. Yeah, all its molecules are charging. That's why, you know, mountain water, when you get under a waterfall, if you ever, it feels amazing. Even in the shower, when water's flowing at speed, and because it's always changing its molecular structure, it's charging itself, it's cleaning and cleansing itself. And water is a very high vibration. So when you're in the shower and that water's flowing and it's hitting you, you're gonna sing. It's raising your vibration. That's the phenomenon. People singing in the shower. It's just science. It's just the power of water. You see what I'm saying? You can be feeling down and gluggy and slow and heavy. You drink a pint of water, woof, you come alive again. If you ever grow plants, just look at them wilter. A vase of water, 20 minutes, you will literally see them springing back up to life. We share the same property, we're all the same. It's one. So you come to life with water. And going back to its crystalline nature, now we all know the power of crystals. It's no secret. Yeah, crystals are powerful programmers. They are powerful energy conductors. They are powerful light conductors and light retainers. Therefore, you can program your intention into a crystal, and that crystal can be a very powerful tool for you. And there's different crystals for different tools, different energy centers, different intentions. It's all the earth. It's all earth material. We are made of the same material. So when you've got water, a flowing crystal, we know we are crystal. We know basically we are condensed crystal. We are condensed light. That's what we are. Everything here is the highest nutrient, light. And that's where we come to hydration. Because what we are doing with hydration is actually we are absorbing light. We are saturating ourselves with light. Well, how does that work? We're talking about hydrogen. Hydration, when we talk about pH balance, we're not talking about oxygen and water. We're talking about potential hydrogen. Hydrogen is the main molecule of water. Hello? So your body's using the oxygen. Your body's also using the hydrogen, essential hydrogen molecule. The sun, in its mass, is mainly hydrogen. That's light. So that explains what hydrogen is. The sun is the light of the world, the giver of the world. So the hydrogen is the lightest element on the periodic table. It's number 1. there. Now you can connect the dots. You're talking about fire, you're talking about hydrogen, you're talking about water, light. It's all, everything is everything. Yeah? But when you start to connect the dots and start to realize what we actually are, that's why they'll show all the most powerful arts. Is you got to get back to the elements, understanding you are the elements: earth, water, fire, and of course breath, air, and then you are higher etheric elements. They're the main, and they're all the same, but we'll break that down. It's like, and this is where everything is everything is one. You are one with all. It's just balancing them when they're operating at different states and concentrations. That's alchemy. Yeah. Anyway, so consider the programming intentional potential of crystals. Now you are literally a fountain of crystal, flowing crystal. So it makes sense that we as human beings in our communities, cultures, we know we get easily programmed. They can literally program us. Our brain is like a computer. It stores memory. It stores programs. And now think about it. When you are uploading a program into the computer, the memory is being stored on crystals. Remember, the brain requires twice as much oxygen. The brain needs water, hydrogen, crystals. This is all the same science. But what's important to know about that is how you think about yourself, how you heal yourself. This is the power of the mind. It's not necessarily the power of the mind. The mind is a tool. It's the power of what you are. We are walking water. When you are water, when you know yourself and you know water and you are in connection with water, why do you think so many ancient cultures and tribes, and even today, there's people all over this planet doing water ceremonies constantly? Water ceremonies, healing the waters. You heal the waters, you're healing yourself. The moon is there controlling the water. It's totally intertwined and intersynced with the whole cosmic system. Water, waves, vapor, moisture. Water is very, very deep, as a substance. It's the universal elixir. It's the strongest solvent, because it will break down. It absorbs its environment. So, just consider that when you're thinking about yourself, when you're setting intentions, when you're dealing with your own water. Don't be scared. It's not spooky. It's not hocus pocus. It's not magic. Use your potential. Bless your water. Crystallize it. Set great intentions. Go and look up Dr. Emoto and his studies on water. Get the book Water Codes. Get the book The Fifth Phase. Water. Start to understand the science behind water, and then you will understand the magic, because magic is just the unspoken science, the side of science that is not revealed or exposed, the hidden. It's like the quantum kind of metaphysical science in practice, in operation. We call it magic because we're very ignorant to the truth of things. But I hope and water, we could not exhaust a month daily of speaking on the levels of water and its potential. I want to make that clear. But when we're practicing yoga, especially if we want to become more flexible, if we want to be able to release a lot more and extend our range in poses and postures, allowing more space, more oxygen, more healing, more energy flow, it's important that our cells are hydrated. Go back to the stick and the twigs. If they are dry and lacking water and hydration, they will you've got no slack, you've got no bend, you've got no flex. Look at the body, it's just common sense, but the cells need to be hydrated. If the cells are hydrated, they can operate. If the cells are not hydrated, they are not functioning as individual cells. That means they cannot function as collective cells, i.e. organs, as collective systems in the body. The cells need to reproduce, they need to replicate themselves, they need to produce energy, ATP. It's important because the oxygen from the water creates energy. It feeds the ATP, that makes energy. So we're going to be sluggish, we're going to be slow, we're going to be lacking energy without water. So I do need to point out though, don't overdo the water. Because I know a lot of people, I drink 3-4 liters. You don't need to do that. Because you don't want to dilute all your concentration. The body needs a good strong balance of concentrated substances and chemicals. You don't want to over dilute things and flood the system out, but you just want to get sufficient water. If you're eating a mainly dry diet that don't contain any juices or waters, then you need to drink more water than somebody who is eating a heavy plant-based diet. They probably just need a couple of pints a day, a pint or two a day, if you're eating lots of fruit and lots of citrusy, water-based, melony, grapesy, juicy fruits. They hydrate your cells much better than normal water because of their vibratory field. It's like a process of diffusion. They have the energy to generate the flow of hydration through the cells. Water molecules are, not what they used to be, put it that way. And that brings us on to the type of water. I'll say it again, if you're still drinking tap water, where have you been? Please stop. Just stop it. The research is there, and it's been there since I was young, We need to seek and really know, because we need to help the people around us too. And the more people become aware, the more collectively then we can have a voice and maybe put a stop to all this madness, this monstrous, barbaric, bloody genocidal, depopulation agendas that are going on. Like I just shared a post today that I took from my friend Lucas. Big up, bro. It's crazy. It's a picture of Dr. Sebi. And basically, it's like saying you take advice about health from the people who profit from your sickness. And that's what we do. Stop trusting these rulers and leadership. They're maniacs, they're disgusting. Anyway, following that, so what types of water are good? You can distill your water, just remineralize it. Remineralize natural mineral drops, because you don't want to have just pure water, because natural water is full of minerals because of its travel in its environmental path through its environment, the rocks and the grasses and the other kind of atmospheric material matter. Our body needs all of that. The light, it needs it. So just remineralize your water. A bit of lime, squirt a lemon, that will alkalize your water. 2 grains of pink Himalayan salt, that will remineralize your water. You can get actual mineral droplets. Failing that, if you're buying bottled water, much better than tap water, but just try and get it in a glass vessel so that you can program it yourself. Just bless it. You're powerful. You can do that. You will feel it when you're drinking it. The truth don't lie. You just need to get very sensitive and in tune with yourself and in tune with the elements. And then go and look at a candle for 10 minutes. Just look at a flame after. Just to get yourself more in tune. It's powerful stuff. We take these little basic things for granted. But in this time, it will ground you and take you to another level. It will open your eyes. Just get very sensitive. And like I say, it's important for your yoga practice to keep the body and the cells and the joints hydrated. It's important for your structure, your strength, your well-being, your bones. Otherwise, you're going to get a lot of aches and pains, man. And a lot of cells will suffer and a lot of disease will fester. Your body will just be hijacked. I can't stop saying the best water, if you've got access, go to a mountain, get just fresh running water. Like I say, that water's been constantly running. You want running water. If you can get that water and bottle that, you've done well. You drink it there on the spot, man. You feel the charge. Do you know what I mean? So just do that. Drop crystals in your water, set intentions, play with it, man. This is like a big school, a big playground. The earth is beautiful and blessed. Just really get connected, and connecting to water is connecting to yourself. You're 90% water, so start to understand it, start to feel it, start to be water. Bruce Lee, a master of all arts, never mind just martial. He was an artist, a master artist. Look what he says about water. Be water, my friend. Be water. Be fluid. Be adaptable. Be absorbing. Be soft. Be still. Be powerful. Be waves. There's a stillness and a depth to water, and on the surface it can be crashing waves, storms, but there's also a stillness. It's just that beautiful, natural, energetic, harmonious kind of amazing being. It's like a level of divine energy that can't really be explained in language. It can only really be observed and experienced. And when you're looking out on the sea or a good stream on a sunny day, you see the light hitting, The water will show you what it is. Crystals, you see crystals all on the top. You're not imagining things. Oh, the science, oh, it's just light and reflection and da-da-da. True. It's all of that. It's crystals. That's what crystals do. You are water. Water will show you what you are. It will show you what it is. You look into water, fresh water, and it will show you what it is. It will show you your reflection. You, I am you, you are me. It's the symbolic. We come through water. We start as seamen. You know, women, water in the few. When the waters break and the current is flowing, that is your first current. That is your first wave you ride. Then we come down the canal. It's all water, whole of nature, whole the birthing, the growing, all that process is water. And it's all the elements, but, you know, this is about water. So get connected and go with the flow, you know, and just get more in tune with water, and it will reward you greatly. So yeah, I hope this just recaps and, you know, kind of reinvigorates the discussion we was having in the studio. Thanks for a great session as well, guys. It was really beautiful. And I think next session we're going to talk about reinforcing consumptions, basically what we consume and how we consume and how we can reinforce it and the levels of consumption. Yeah, man, we've got deep again. It's very necessary discussions. But stay well, stay hydrated, keep breathing, keep hydrating yourselves. And if you're picking up these keys every week, you know, you're gonna come out at the end of this particular course, you know, a lot more you than you started, put it that way. Give thanks for this.